They didn't recruit me because I was human. They recruited me because I was the last thing left that still knew how to kill without mercy. The shuttle smelled like oil and ozone, its walls slick with condensation from recycled air. Across from me, Caliph adjusted the seals on a rifle, her four amber eyes fixed on me like she was studying a malfunctioning device. Draxon sat beside her, armor plates scraping against the bench, mandibles twitching in irritation. He never tried to hide his contempt. "You sweat too much, human," Draxon muttered, voice grinding like broken stone. "Stinks up the hold." My fist clenched. The restraint around my chest armor felt tighter. Caliph cut in before I could answer. "He sweats because his species regulates heat that way. You'd know that if you actually studied the physiology report." Draxon leaned forward, teeth bared. "All I need to know is that it leaks water when scared. Doesn't belong in our ranks." I forced my eyes away, kept my voice steady. "Say that again when I'm carrying you back from the battlefield." Caliph's lips curled in something close to amusement. Draxon growled, but before it could escalate, the calm crackled. Commander Zera's voice filled the hold, sharp and cold. "Touchdown in 60. Targets are marked. No prisoners. No delays. I want efficiency." The shuttle jolted as we entered atmosphere. My gut twisted. Every mission started this way. Zera giving orders like she was carving them into stone. No questions. No hesitation. Efficiency. That word followed me everywhere. The ramp slammed down, and heat swallowed us whole. The air was thick with smoke and scorched earth. I sprinted forward, boots crunching across blackened soil. The settlement was already burning. Alien huts and crude shelters collapsing in on themselves. Figures scattered in the haze, silhouettes running, stumbling. Some carried tools, some dragged children. Not soldiers, not armed. Still, Zera's voice rang through the calm. "Advance. Eradicate." Caliph took position beside me, rifle humming as she cut through the crowd with precision. Draxon moved like a predator unleashed, roaring as his plasma bursts tore through clusters of fleeing bodies. And me? I hesitated, only for a heartbeat. Then training, instinct, survival, they all took over. My rifle snapped to my shoulder. Target. Fire. Target. Fire. Every squeeze of the trigger sent another figure crumpling into the dirt. The cries, the pleading, none of it made sense in the noise. I told myself it didn't matter. They were the enemy. But my hand shook. Always after. Always worse than before. Back aboard the shuttle, silence wrapped around us like a coffin lid. Draxon cleaned his claws with the tip of his knife, not even glancing at me. Caliph leaned against the bulkhead, arms folded. Her eyes lingered on me longer than the others ever dared. "You hesitate," she said quietly, "but when you strike, it is without error. That is why they call you weapon." I rubbed my palms against my armor, still feeling the tremor in them. They weren't soldiers. They didn't even fight. Draxon snorted. "Fight or not, they were marked. Empire decides. We execute." Caliph tilted her head. "It troubles you." I looked at her, then at the floor. "You don't hear them when it's over?" The way they... I stopped. She didn't answer. Debrief was the same as always. Commander Zera stood tall, dark armor gleaming under the harsh lights of the command chamber. Her face was unreadable, eyes like shards of glass. "You performed as expected," she said, gaze fixed on me. "Direct. Efficient. Human instinct functions precisely as projected." I wanted to say something. Wanted to ask why the missions never resembled the war I'd been promised. Why our enemies never carried weapons. But her stare pinned me down like a blade to the throat. I swallowed it. "Yes, Commander." Her lips twitched, not quite a smile. "Good. Rest. You will be deployed again soon." Sleep never came easy after missions. I lay on my bunk, staring at the ceiling, counting the hums of the ventilation system. The image of a boy clinging to his mother as plasma fire ripped through them, replayed over and over. They begged in a language I couldn't understand, but their voices didn't need translation. Fear was universal. I pressed the heels of my hands into my eyes until sparks danced in the dark. Efficiency. That's all Zera saw. That's all I was supposed to be. But my hands wouldn't stop shaking. 2 weeks later, during another raid, something broke. We were deep in the ruins of an outpost, smoke curling through shattered stone. Zera's orders came sharp. "Sweep the east quarter. Eliminate any stragglers. Caliph led the push, Draxon covering the flank. I moved ahead, heart pounding too fast, sweat burning in my eyes. Through the rubble, I spotted movement, two figures dragging supplies into a cellar. I raised my rifle. My finger hesitated. Then, the comm in my ear crackled. Not Zara's voice, not Caliph's. A distorted transmission bleeding through enemy channels. Ronan Hale, the executioner. My blood froze. I ducked into cover, pulling the comm device tight against my ear. The voice repeated, clearer this time. Executioner. Hale. He comes. He kills our children. My breath caught. They knew my name. Not as a soldier. Not as an enemy. As death itself. I lower my weapon, stomach twisting like it wanted to crawl out of me. They weren't fighting me. They were running from me. That's when the truth carved itself into my skull. I wasn't chosen for my humanity. I wasn't chosen to prove anything. I was chosen for one reason only. Because I was violent. Back aboard the ship, I kept my mouth shut. Draxon bragged about his kill count. Caliph sat silent, watching me like she already knew what I'd heard. In the command chamber, Zara gave her usual review, praising efficiency, praising precision. Her words slid across the room like razors. But I wasn't listening. Not anymore. The comm's whisper replayed in my head. Executioner. That was all I was to them. Not Ronan Hale. Not human. Not soldier. A weapon. Built, sharpened, and pointed wherever they chose. And every time I pulled the trigger, the blade cut deeper into me. A weapon. Built, sharpened, and pointed wherever they chose. But even weapons can turn in the handler's grip. I walked into the command chamber, still hearing the enemy transmission. My boots echoed across the steel floor. Zara stood with her back to me, posture like a blade, hands clasped behind her armor. Commander, I said. My voice cracked. I forced it steady. They knew my name. She didn't turn. The enemy leaks propaganda constantly. Irrelevant. No. I stepped closer, heat crawling under my skin. They didn't call me soldier. Didn't call me human. They called me executioner. They know me, Zara. They know what I am. She pivoted slowly, face calm, too calm. Her eyes drilled into mine. And what are you? The words tumbled out before I could stop them. A weapon. For the first time, she smiled. A small, precise curve of her lips. Finally, you understand. My stomach nodded. You never told me why I was recruited. Why me? Out of billions of humans. There are no billions. She cut me off like a knife slicing rope. There is only you. The room seemed to tilt under me. My throat dried out. What the hell are you talking about? Zara stepped forward, voice low, deliberate. Earth is gone. The Empire cleansed it 40 years ago. Nothing remains but ash and a few scraps of your kind. Most were failures, unstable, useless. You were the last functional specimen. My knees almost buckled. My vision swam. That's a lie. Truth doesn't care if you choke on it. Her gaze hardened. You were not chosen to represent humanity. You were chosen because you are alone. No family, no ties, no loyalty to anything but survival. The perfect, disposable assassin. The words ripped through me like shrapnel. Alone. Disposable. I staggered back a step. So all those missions, the people we killed. Symbols, she said flatly. Leaders. Refugee organizers. Farmers who sheltered deserters. Nothing more. You kill them. Their communities collapse. Fear spreads faster than fire. My hands curled into fists. You used me. She tilted her head, unbothered. We built you. Sharpened you. The only failure was expecting you to accept it without question. Silence stretched between us, broken only by the hum of command consoles. My heart slammed against my ribs, faster, louder, until it drowned out everything else. Then the comm crackled. Admiral Threxon's voice rolled across the chamber like a dark tide. Commander Zara. Status report. Zara's eyes never left me. The human is processing. Good. Threxon's tone was silk-hiding steel. He'll need to be ready for his next performance. A surrendering general waits. Execute him on broadcast. Let the galaxy see the Empire's resolve. My blood ran cold. Broadcast. Zara nodded once. Your kill will break their morale. Their resistance dies with their leader. This is your purpose. I shook my head. No, I won't do it. Her jaw tightened. You will. The doors hissed open, and my squad filed in. Caliph, eyes unreadable. Draxon, mandibles twitching with barely suppressed glee. They flanked me like guards escorting a prisoner. The chamber was a theater. Lights glared down on the kneeling figure at the center, General Orvik. His skin was cracked stone, his body battered but unbroken. Chains bound his wrists. His voice was hoarse, but his gaze was clear when he lifted it to me. "You are Hale," he rasped. "The human. The one they send to slaughter the helpless." My chest tightened. He wasn't pleading. He was condemning. Zara's command rang out sharp. "Do it." I raised my rifle, hands trembling. Orvik stared straight into me, eyes burning. "Your masters fear us," he said. "That is why they need you." A relic of a dead world, turned into their knife. The room swam. My finger hovered over the trigger. The weight of galaxy pressed on me. Zara's voice cut through the haze. "Now." The squad watched. The cameras watched. The Empire watched. I exhaled and turned. The rifle barked, and Commander Zara's throat exploded in a spray of dark blood. Her body crumpled soundlessly, her eyes wide in shock. The chamber erupted. Draxon roared and fired. Caliph shouted something I couldn't hear over the chaos. Alarms blared. Orvik fell to the ground as the chains snapped loose in the confusion. I ran. Plasma bolts scorched the walls around me, one slicing across my shoulder. Pain flared white-hot, but adrenaline kept me moving. Down corridors, through blast doors, weaving through the guts of the ship like a hunted animal. My breath tore my lungs, blood soaking my armor. Every step pounded the truth deeper. I wasn't their soldier. I wasn't their representative. I was their executioner, and now I was a fugitive. Down corridors, through blast doors, weaving through the guts of the ship like a hunted animal. My breath tore at my lungs, blood soaking my armor. Zara's dead eyes still burned in my mind, but there was no time to look back. The Empire would brand me traitor. They would unleash every squad, every hunter, every blade at their disposal. The alarms howled. Red strobes lit the walls like arterial spray. Draxon's roar echoed behind me. "Coward! Human scum! I'll carve you open myself." I slammed through a service hatch, locking it behind me. My arm throbbed from the plasma burn, vision swimming. My legs carried me on instinct alone. The comm in my ear spat static. Then Threxon's voice thundered. "Ronan Hale, you dare stain the Empire with betrayal? There is no place in this galaxy you can run where we will not find you." I ripped the device from my ear and hurled it against the wall. It shattered in sparks. I made it to the hangar by sheer will. Shuttles lined the deck, engines dormant. Soldiers swarmed, rushing to arms, alarms drowning their commands. Kayla stood in my path, rifle aimed, but not at me. Her eyes locked on mine. No words, just a flick of her chin toward an unguarded vessel. I hesitated. Blood ran down my arm, dripping from my fingertips. "Go," she hissed. I staggered past her. She fired, but not at me. At the soldiers chasing close behind. Screams erupted. The hatch of the shuttle slammed shut, and I barely found the strength to slam my hand on the launch console. Engines roared. Gravity shoved me back as the craft tore free from the hangar, slipping into the void. For a brief moment, silence. Just the hum of the ship and the ragged rasp of my breath. Then the broadcast came. Every channel, every frequency. "Attention all systems. Human Ronan Hale, designated executioner, has betrayed the Empire. He is wanted dead or alive. Caution, highly dangerous. Fugitive of war." My reflection stared back at me from the console glass, pale, bloodied, shaking. I was no longer a soldier, not even their weapon, just prey. I hid in the shadows of ruined colonies, scavenging scraps from abandoned outposts, stitching my wounds with shaking hands. Faces haunted me. Farmers, children, the boy who clung to his mother. Orvik's defiant eyes. Zara's shock as the shot tore through her. Every night I expected the Empire to find me. Sometimes I thought I wanted them to, but it wasn't the Empire that caught me first. I woke to the sting of cold steel against my throat. The air smelled of dust and rust. The dark of a ruined warehouse pressing down. A dozen alien silhouettes surrounded me, weapons drawn. One step forward, scarred broad, eyes like burning coals. "General Orvik, you should have killed me when you had the chance," he said. I forced myself to sit up slowly, hands raised. If I wanted you dead, you be dead. His soldiers growled. Rifles hummed. Orvik studied me in silence, then gave a curt gesture. Weapons lowered slightly. He crouched in front of me. Why did you turn your gun on your commander? I swallowed, throat raw. Because she lied. Because I was never a soldier, just a tool. His expression didn't change. And what do you think we see when we look at you? The tool that butchered our families. The executioner who slaughtered without pause. My hand shook. I didn't know. No. His voice cracked like thunder. You didn't care. I couldn't argue. Not against the weight of their dead. Finally, another voice cut through. A woman stepped from the shadows. Lyra Vane. Her face was scarred, her movements sharp, but her eyes burned with something colder than hatred. We should kill him, she said. Let the galaxy know the executioner fell in chains. Orvik's gaze lingered on me. Then he shook his head. No, not yet. He gestured. 2 soldiers yanked me to my feet, shackled my wrists. They didn't torture me. That almost made it worse. They brought me into a chamber filled with flickering screens, archives stacked like relics of forgotten ages. A gaunt figure waited. Toven Mar, their archivist. He pressed a device to the console, and Earth appeared. Blue oceans, green continents. The home I'd only seen in training holos, always shining, always untouched. Then the image burned. Cities cracked apart, skies turned black, continents split open under firestorms. Toven's voice was quiet, too quiet. The Empire didn't just conquer Earth. They erased it, engineered its collapse, rewrote history to make humanity's end look inevitable. My throat closed. No, that. Do you think you're the first of your kind we've seen in their armor? He snapped. You are not. They bred human soldiers as experiments. They failed. You survived. Alone. The last. The screens shifted, records of raids, images of me among alien soldiers, my rifle raised, bodies falling. Lyra's voice dripped venom. You were their monster. Their message. They sent you to remind us all that humanity meant nothing. I stumbled back, chains rattling. The walls felt like they were closing in. No. My voice was hollow. I didn't know. Orvik's gaze cut through me. And now you do. Days blurred. They fed me, questioned me, argued about me. Some wanted me executed. Others wanted me displayed as proof of the Empire's cruelty. But Lyra came back, every time, leaning in close, whispering like she wanted to drive the words through my skull. You're not our ally. You're not one of us. You're just what they made you. A killer too stubborn to die. I spat blood at her boots once. She laughed. See? Even your defiance is wasted. But Toven wasn't like her. He showed me more. Archives of species the Empire had erased. Languages stripped from the stars. Monuments ground into dust. This war isn't survival, he said. It's extermination. His eyes fixed on mine. And you, Hale, are proof. Not of their strength. Of their fear. They built you because they feared what your kind represented. I couldn't breathe. My chest felt like it was caving in. And what's that? Choice, Toven whispered. The resistance debated what to do with me. Kill me, cage me, use me. I listened in silence, bleeding inside. They didn't trust me. I didn't trust them. But one truth seared hotter than all the rest. I wasn't the first. I wasn't special. I was the last failed soldier of a dead world. And now the galaxy saw me as only one thing. The executioner. Chains cut my wrists, but it wasn't the metal that bound me. It was the weight of what I now knew. What the Empire had done to Earth. What they had made me into. I sat in the resistance hold, a cage of rust and shadow. Outside, voices clashed like blades. Lyra Vane's snarl cut through. He dies. Tonight. We can't parade the Empire's butcher around and expect our people to follow. Toven Mar countered, quieter but sharper. If he dies here, the Empire controls the story. If he lives, if he turns against them, Orvik thundered. He will never be one of us. Their words pressed against my skull. I wanted to scream, to tell them they were right, that I wasn't worth saving. But then I thought of Caliph, standing in that hangar, choosing in one heartbeat to risk everything for me. Maybe I owed the galaxy nothing, but I owed her something. The door hissed. Lyra stalked in, blade in hand. On your feet, executioner, she spat. I stood. My body was broken, but my eyes locked on hers. "Do it," I rasped. "End it." She hesitated, not out of mercy, but to savor the moment. That hesitation was all I needed. I snapped forward, chains whipping around her wrist, dragging her close. Her blade clattered to the floor. My fist drove in her jaw, dropping her cold. The guards burst in, too late. I was already gone. Sirens howled. Resistance soldiers rushed the corridors. I ducked into maintenance shafts, blood painting the walls behind me. My heart pounded, every step a countdown. When I emerged, I was in the war room. Screens lit the chamber, broadcasting the latest feeds. The Empire's fleets tightening their noose around resistance strongholds. Entire planets set ablaze. Tovin was there, hunched over the consoles. He turned, startled. "Hail! Tell me where." I barked. His eyes narrowed. "Where what?" "Their command fleet. The core of it. Where they broadcast the hunts. Where they spread the lies." Tovin studied me like he was trying to measure my soul. "And what will you do?" I tightened my fists, blood dripping down my knuckles. What I was built for. But this time on my terms. They gave me a ship, not out of trust, but desperation. Orvik spat in the dirt as I left. Lyra, bruised but alive, promised she would slit my throat if I failed. I believed her. The stars swallowed me. The Empire's fleet loomed ahead, black daggers against the void, bristling with cannons and shields. At the heart, the flagship Dominion, where Threxen waited. I knew what had to be done. Not victory, not survival, just a message. I crashed through their perimeter in fire and fury. Fighters swarmed me, but I tore them down, every shot screaming through my veins like vengeance itself. Hull plating shredded, alarms blaring. My ship bled smoke across the stars. I punched through, slamming onto the Dominion's deck. The hangar erupted with soldiers, rifles raised. And then the helmets tilted, murmurs rippled. It wasn't fear. It was recognition. "The executioner," one whispered. I stepped from the wreckage, rifle in hand, blood down my armor. "I was your weapon," I shouted. My voice carried over the chaos. "I was your lie. No more." They hesitated, just long enough. I fired. Corridors turned into killing grounds. Draxon found me first, blade flashing, rage burning. "Traitor," he roared. We clashed, steel against steel, his strength like a storm. He carved my side open, but I rammed his own blade through his chest. He stared at me, disbelief frozen in his eyes as he fell. One by one, I cut through them. Not soldiers, ghosts. Every strike carved the monster they made of me deeper into their own flesh. Finally, the command bridge. Threxen stood at its center, calm, composed, as if he had expected this. "Ronan Hale," he said smoothly. "The last human. The last mistake." I raised my rifle. "You erased Earth." He almost smiled. "Earth erased itself. We merely accelerated the inevitable. And you, our finest creation, helped bury it." Rage shook me. "Not anymore." He drew his blade, crackling with energy. "Then die with what's left of your species." The duel was brutal. His strikes were flawless, trained, merciless. Mine were wild, desperate, soaked in fury. He sliced deep into my arm, shattered my visor, burned my flesh. But I remembered every scream, every child, every colony, and I drove my blade into his heart. His eyes widened. For the first time, fear flickered there. He collapsed. The mighty General Threxen, architect of Earth's extinction, lay in silence. I staggered to the console, my vision blurred, blood pooling in my boots. One command, one broadcast, all across the Empire's channels. The feed lit up with my face, scarred, bloodied, broken. "My name is Ronan Hale," I said, voice ragged but steady. "I was the Empire's weapon, their monster, their executioner. But I am not theirs anymore. Every world they burned, every voice they silenced, I carry them with me. And I swear, they will never erase us again." Static roared. Then silence. I slumped to my knees, the console sparking around me. Outside, the fleet trembled, not from fear of me, but from fear of what I had become. Not their weapon, not their tool. The executioner reborn.